Let's see what my God is gonna do.
Into the thick of it. Into the thick of it. Damn. Into the thick of it. Damn.
Hey Thiccums, how are you guys doing today? Welcome back to another episode of Thick of It podcast. Whoop, period. So we have a guest today. As you can see, a lovely lady next to me. But I'm going to introduce her later in the episode. I want you guys to get a feel of how it's going. You know what I mean? Just a little, see how it's going. But, hey girl, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Guys, this is Ericka. How are you doing? Like, what's going on? How was your week?
I'm good. How was my week? My week has been intense.
Mm-hmm.
Like I told you, we're talking off camera. Like, it's been a crazy week. Life is definitely lifing. But, you can't complain when you're living the things that you prayed for. So, I'm grateful through it all.
I feel you. Sometimes I'm just like, I pray that I don't mishandle what I already asked for. And I'm like, let me stay on that.
Yeah.
Let me stay on that
Apply
strong.
pressure.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. But guys, we here and we live and we made it. But thank you guys for coming back. Oh my God. Hi, I'm Ijoma. If you've never seen me before, I'm your host. And yeah, we're just going to get straight into it. So the first segment, I normally like to have something called Let's Get Into the Thick of It, where I simply just ask my guests what's on your mind? What's something you really want to just get out? Like, this is just your space to vent. Just tell me what's going on.
Okay. I don't know what is going on. I don't know. Well, at the time of this recording, we just came off a pretty interesting time in the government of this country.
Not the greatest.
And, it's just, we're here. We're mourning.
Yeah, we're here. And we're surviving.
Eventually, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
So we're just going through the grieving process and gearing up for what's
coming
store,
next. Yes.
Whatever that is.
How was going back to work for you, like, the day after that?
Girl, that's a whole nother story time. So, like, going back, so I work in a lot of PWI spaces, predominantly white institutional spaces. So, I don't know, it was very mixed feelings. Like, it was very... you're not really too sure, like being like the only person of color in my office. It's kind of like I don't really know what their expectation of me is to react. I don't really know where they stand. We don't really talk about it much. So it's just a very quiet time. Like I feel like throughout the whole process I was just very to myself,
reserved,
keeping my opinion to myself and just trying to not do too much.
That's exactly how I feel. Like at work I was at the time they just brought another black girl, so I was like, hey girl, but before it was just really me, and I just was trying to figure out how exactly. I'm just gonna stay chill, not talk to anyone, because like no one was gonna talk about it, but there were some people that were making comments in my office, so I was just like, okay, this is reality right now, unfortunately, but but what I wanted to get into the thick of was I try to be mysterious. And my thing is, I'm just not, like, I would, like, be mysterious online, but one thing I would always tell my friends, I'm like, oh my God, guys, this is what's happening to me. But, like, I would always want to be mysterious. I'm like, how are people, like, mysterious to the point that they're not telling a single person what's going on? Or, like, because, sometimes they say when you, like, don't tell anyone anything, the outcome is better and how the thing works out better. And I used to be like that, but then I got comfortable with telling people what's going on. And now I'm like, we got to run it back to how it was before.
Well, that comes with a spirit of discernment, right? Like, there are some things that are meant to be shared with people in the right time, and there are some things that aren't. And I think there's a balance, like even for myself with having my podcast and building my brand and going through the process of starting to build in public. It's like, well, how much am I comfortable sharing? Let's start with that. Like when you're dreaming big, sometimes you don't want to put it all out there because like you just don't want that energy. Not all energy is good energy.
Yeah, some people have that bad energy.
Yeah, and even with like family and friends, like I spend a lot of time with my family and friends. So, it's just like having that discernment of like, what am I comfortable with sharing? And what are some things that I need to keep close to the vest in this season? And maybe it'll be something that I share in the future, but just right now it's not it.
Yeah. Ooh, I like how you said. First of all, I like your voice.
Stop it.
It's really good. Like y'all listening to it, so it's just like be like smooth.
It's the podcasting voice.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you got it. Because I was like, ooh, I could fall asleep to this. I really like it. For cool. But guys, I'm gonna introduce this beautiful lady. So I'm currently in the era that I like to be surrounded by women who women. And you know what that means. Like when a woman is just womaning and they're doing their thing, that's who I have right here. I met Ericka at this event, and we were talking to basically like the entire time.
Whole time.
Yeah, no, look,
there was like no other networking happening.
No other networking. Like we were talking the whole time, and honestly, fast forward, we're like, we're gonna make this happen, and now we are. Like honestly, this. I want to introduce Ericka Nicole. Is that your name? Like,
Yeah.
okay, Ericka.
That's
Nicole.
actually like my government name.
Oh shoot! Do you want me to say?
No,
that?
that's fine.
Okay,
No,
okay.
that's good. That's
okay, yeah, guys. So we have
No, because
Eric.
people would be like, "Did you just make that up?" I'm like, no, that's like actually like
That's so
my
easy.
legal name.
Oh my
Like,
god, you must have had a great time in elementary
I'm
school
screaming.
when they were calling people's
It's my
names
first and middle
out.
name, so
wow.
like, yeah.
Oh, bless your heart. Yeah, mine was like Ijoma is. Yeah, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all.
man.
Oh my god, but. Guys, oh my god, she's an entrepreneur. Like, she has skincare. Like, guys, look at the skin. Like, look at the skin. Ugh. It was, and when I met her, like, I was like, damn, this is. So she's honestly amazing, guys, and I can't wait for you guys to like listen to all the gems she's gonna drop and just like everything in general. Like, just listening to her, very impactful and very powerful, and just like everything we can hear. And I'm so excited. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for sharing your platform with me. First
Of
off,
course.
congratulations on your
Oh,
podcast. Like,
thank
most podcasts don't make it
you.
past 10 episodes.
Oh, thank
so like
you.
you even being so consistent and diligent with your work and your
Yes.
platform, that's something to be
Thanks.
honored. So thank you for
Thanks,
sharing it
girl.
with me.
Yes, Thiccums, rack it up. Okay, hit that subscribe button. Hit it
Subscribe.
now. Please hit it now. Okay, so let's just talk about your business.
Yeah.
Why did you choose? Actually, explain your business to me. Let the Thiccums know what's going on.
Yeah, so I'm the founder and CEO of Silken. We are a pollution protection skincare brand focused on balancing the microbiome and strengthening the skin barrier.
Oh.
So yeah, very science forward. My background is forensics and pre-med. That's kind of how we got here.
Yes.
And I spent some time working in the field in toxicology. Quickly realized it was not what I wanted
Not
to
at
do.
all.
It was a lot smellier than I thought it was going to be. It was just not it. It was emotionally draining. I don't think a lot of people talk about that on the flip side of forensic work. Like when you're doing crime scene work, you're exposed to a lot of sad things, a lot of darkness. So it was just like not something that I wanted to do full time. So then I was going through some other things in my personal life. So I was like, I just can't do this. So I quit my cozy job and decided to spend the next 6 months traveling. Because mind you, this is something I've wanted to do since I was 9 years old. Like I grew up watching Law and Order, Dr. Melinda, like she was the coroner on the show and all these murders she wrote. And like this is what I had wanted to do since I was 9. And I finally got here and it's not what I wanted. And it's not what I thought it was going to be. So I decided to travel on my Eat, Pray, Love and really just explore my passions. And that's when I realized that pollution was triggering my flare-ups. Like your girl was in like traveling across the US and I was in the Caribbean and all these different places. And I would go to like, Jamaica or the Bahamas and the skin giving, thriving, amazing. I would come back to the city and it's like,
what's happening? Like, it's not looking.
I don't like
I
that.
hate that.
I don't like that.
I hate that because you travel, your skin looking great, and then you come back. It doesn't even give that. I just gave tropical.
it's not giving vacation at all. It's
No.
giving very much stress.
It's giving stress.
So
It's giving
it was
receding.
giving stress. So I decided to put my degree to use, and I started doing a lot of due diligence on skin health and microbiome and the skin barrier and pollution protection. And that's kind of the conception of Silken.
Oh, wow. First of all, that's amazing. That's actually amazing. I love how you said it was very like science-based because like a lot of people don't really know what we're actually putting on our face.
Right.
And I think that's very important for you to even like educate people, like even let us know what exactly is going into your products. And I think that's also like, that's because your skin is great, girl. Your skin is
Thank
glowing.
you.
Like, I love that. Like, and it's really something. And I just remember, like, when you were even saying, like, how, like, when you travel and coming back and noticing there's a difference in the skin, and like you just want to have that feeling all the time when you're on like a tropical vacation or something, the way your skin is glowing and everything. You want to feel that all the time.
For sure. And I think like sometimes you have to like get out of your normal routine to like pick up on things that are changing within your body, because like stress isn't just the environment. Like we have environmental stressors, but it's our diet, it's we're not getting enough sleep, we have stress at work, and like all of these things show up in our skin. So you have to be very mindful.
Oh yeah, very mindful. So when it comes to like, so you say you traveled a lot. So where exactly, or what was the point during your traveling you realized like, okay, I'm gonna make this change? Because you said how you quit your job, and like first of all, kudos to you for that too, like taking that jump. Like how was that actually? Like
it was very irresponsible of me. Absolutely, looking back on it, I'm glad that it worked out. It's funny because like I don't remember what the breaking point was. I think like one of my coworkers had called out, and that was just like the straw that broke the camel's back for me. I was like, I cannot do this. I remember going into my car and I called my boyfriend at the time, but my now husband, and I was like, babe, I can't do this.
love that.
And I was like, babe, I can't do this. Like, I'm gonna quit. And like, I can be a little impulsive sometimes, and he's like a little bit more rational. So I was expecting him to be like, oh, like, babe, it's fine. Like, we'll talk about it when you get home. And he was just like, okay.
Oh.
And I was like, oh,
that's the sign.
Is this you? Is this you?
Is
like,
you?
is this okay? Great. So yeah, I went in the next day. I put in my 2 weeks. I left, and it was scary. I was living off of my savings. Didn't really have a plan. But like, there wasn't a point of worry, and I think that was really just God's favor over it. Yeah. Like, it felt right, even though I didn't really understand how this was gonna play out. Like, and I didn't have like crazy millions of dollars stashed up. But then like, you're also spending, traveling, and you're not really making any money. So it's like,
how is
it gonna provision,
work?
Lord. Okay, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like, looking back, it worked out, and I'm glad that I think that was the leap that I needed to know that like I have the capacity to chase the things that I want to do.
I like that, honestly, because it'd be like sometimes it's so scary to actually do something outside of your comfort zone or something that like, oh, like I'm just gonna do it and see what happens. But it's really just like having that faith in God and just having that discernment to really go forward to see what we're gonna do. It's very helpful. I like that a lot. But period to you, girl. You did that for real. So when it comes to building your brand, like, what was something that you've done, that you've learned that you didn't think you needed, or was something that really opened your eyes?
Oh, so many moments. Oh my goodness, so many moments. I think the biggest thing, so like, again, like, my background is very in the science. So like, I had gotten to a point where like, I knew what I wanted the product to be. I knew what like ingredients I wanted. I knew the approach that I wanted to take from like a scientific formulation level. But I didn't really understand marketing. Like, I didn't know like what it would really take. Like, I'm very, I don't know if it's type A or type B. I feel like it's type A when you're very like analytical, numbers, math, science, formula. Yeah, like that's just like very me. And like that type B creative side is not really my strong suit.
Yeah.
So it's like I felt like I had this great idea and this great product, but I didn't know how to craft a marketing campaign or story tell in a way that would connect with my target consumer. And I think the biggest lesson from that was really learning how to embrace your strengths and hire out your weaknesses. And I feel like that's been very instrumental to getting us to this point.
Yeah, honestly, because I feel like people don't really focus on marketing as much, or when it comes to like building stuff, because they think it's easy to cater to an audience, or they think it's easy to focus on getting people to look at your brand. But if you don't know how to tell the story, it is quite challenging, and I definitely understand that, which is something I'm definitely trying to learn how to like. Branding is just like number one, and that's learning how to do it. But I was looking on your Instagram, and I was like, the branding is very cute, like very nice. Like, I really like it. It was looking amazing.
Yeah, we're still very behind the scenes. We haven't launched yet, technically.
No,
so,
of course,
you know,
but it's out there.
There's something there.
It's out there for sure. Yeah, I even noticed, because I knew you had a podcast. You have a podcast. Yeah. But I noticed, is there like a rebranding as well?
Entire rebrand.
Yes. What can we expect? Also, like, tell everyone about your podcast. How's that?
So my brand is called Silk, and obviously in the podcast was called Behind the Silk. And I think I didn't really have a direction for it. Like, I knew I wanted a space to talk about self-care from a holistic perspective, but I didn't know really what I wanted to do with that. So now that I'm in this new season, in this new space, and the brand is kind of branding on its own, like, I feel like I've had time to like really think about being intentional about the podcast, who I want to reach, and the messages that I want to convey. So we are rebranding into the Boss Babe Reset, which is really tailored to the ambitious woman who really wants to have I use this word very, very loosely, like a balanced approach to being ambitious. Because like, when you're trying to go after so many things, like, you're a corporate girl, you're an entrepreneur, you have a side hustle, you're a mom, you're a friend, you're active in your church community, you're trying to balance your social life and your work life. Like, it's a lot. Like, we have a lot on our plates. And like, whatever stage you're at, it's like, how do I navigate these seasons in a way that I don't feel burnt out? Like, because without consistency, you won't really achieve any of the goals that you're setting out. So like, how can I do these things in a sustainable way, so that I can be the best that I can be? Yeah,
that's really important, and it's so hard to balance things. Like, you guys know, like, I recently graduated, and I'm really trying to learn how to balance, like, the corporate life and my normal life, and trying to bring in my podcast to my everyday life. And I'm like, oh my God, how are people doing this every day?
Girl, they're
like,
not. We're not. We're struggling.
No, we
are treading water, like on a daily basis.
Because I'm just like, how exactly are we able to do all these things and still get 8 hours of sleep and still figure out what exactly you have to do?
And go to the gym at 5 a.m. and eat well and show up to your friends' events and spend
just
time
make
with
sure
your
you're
family.
there and make sure you're always present.
Yeah,
like,
and do your skincare and
clean.
keep your house clean.
Oh my
and
gosh,
aesthetically pleasing.
Just make everything nice. Have a candle lit. Like, no,
it's a lot.
The wigs in there. Yeah, it's like a lot.
Yeah.
But like, that's really nice that you're creating a platform so everyone can feel seen and learn how they can be able to balance, not like really balance, but be able to know that it's attainable when you really put yourself out there.
For sure. I think someone that explains it very well is Emma Greed, who is someone that I just like admire her entire being. But she's like, balance doesn't exist, and life is a series of trade-offs. Ooh. And once you have a better understanding of like you're trading this for that, it just makes the whole concept a lot more digestible. And I think that's just the reality for most people, especially women.
Oh, I like that. Really. So like, you being an entrepreneur and like really learning how to balance all these things, I believe you talk to other entrepreneurs, just basically like networking and everything. What's a common thing that you've noticed that every entrepreneur has? Like, what's a common thing that they all do or they all like believe in or something? What's the common thing together?
Yeah, a common thread that I see is that we've all hit a period of burnout to some capacity, that where we are contemplating not continuing the endeavors that we are pursuing. And that's why I think these conversations become so important, because it's like, okay, well, how do I do these things in a sustainable way? So like, even for example, like before, so like there was like I call it a V1 of Silken, and that's like my failing story, which is like a whole separate conversation. But while I was like kind of refiguring out how I was going to position the brand and hire and bring on team, that's when I had decided to start the podcast. And like the podcast was my biggest priority. And that was a thing. And then, you know, over the past year, the brand has really just expanded, and we've hired and we've reformulated and we've done a lot. And the brand became the priority, and that's where those seasons of trade-offs come into play. And now that the brand is kind of branding, as we can say, like I'm able to switch back to really putting some effort into the podcast. So I think once we understand, again, like we're not trying to do everything at once. It's what is my priority in this season, or even in this moment, you know, today. And even like time blocking is something that's very important to me. Like I have all of my team meetings for the podcast on Wednesdays, and I have all of my Silken team meetings on Tuesdays. And even it's just like, what is a priority for this moment, this season, this day? And when, again, it just gives you a better focus, because if you're trying to be a jack of all trades, you become a master of none.
Oh yeah, because honestly, sometimes, like for me, I'm gonna speak for myself, I would try and focus on so many things. I'm like, okay, Jama, let's relax. Let's focus on one thing at a time. And I feel like that's when I'm able to really like sit down and perform better when I'm focusing on one thing. Like I was watching this one video that he was talking about hone on one skill and be able to learn it better so you can start applying that to every other thing.
For sure.
Because I think so far that I've learned, like doing my podcast so far, all these skills that I'm having, I'm like, okay, I can apply this to this part of my life and this part. And it just helps me grow as a person as well. So I definitely resonate with that part. But you also brought up how, like, you said they're V1 of Silken?
Yeah, on my failing season, yeah.
So, like, are you comfortable sharing more a little bit about that?
Oh, yeah. So I started working on Silken back in 2021. So my travel sabbatical happened in 2019. Obviously, I came back. We literally came back towards the end of the year. The panini, the panorama,
the parallelogram,
right? All of that. The parallelogram took place in 2020. That kind of knocked me off because, you know, mental health. So it wasn't until 2021 where I was really able to, like, all right, like this is going to be a thing. And I didn't know where to start. Like I started where most people started. I Googled like how to start a skincare brand.
The normal way.
Yeah, like there's not a lot of information on there. And I think I was also coming from a different place because like I knew that I wanted to build something big. I know a lot of entrepreneurs who have like just stumbled into a big business, but I went into founding Silken with the intention of this is going to be a global brand. Like this is going to be a big thing. And I talk about it all the time on my personal Instagram. Like there's not a lot of information about how to build a big business, especially as a Black woman. A venture backable business at that. So I decided to go back into corporate because I needed income because like starting a business takes
it's
money.
yeah.
So I decided to go back into corporate as an executive assistant in the private equity CPG space. And that was very intentional because I wanted to learn from other people in the industry, from other founders, like how do they get to this point where they're able to sell their company. And I always say like that role basically gave me an MBA in business because I really understood what it took to start a brand, to raise capital, to get to a point of a liquidity event, whether that be an exit or a PE company, whatever that looks like. And I was able to apply a lot of those skills to like me going out to go build my own big business. So yeah, the failures, like the brand initially started like as like a stock formula, like just like private labeling. And I was like, cause like no one wanted to do a custom formula and I couldn't afford a custom formula. So I was like, all right, like should I just be private labeling? And then I was like, oh my goodness, like everyone's like talking about Amazon FBA. So like I started the brand on Amazon and we got like a couple of sales, but it's like, you can't really, it's hard to build a brand on Amazon. So it's like, okay, well let me go over to Shopify. But then you bring the brand over to Shopify and now you have no traffic and no customers and now you need to run paid ads because how are you getting people to your website? Nobody knows about you. And then I started working with this agency who made like a lot of promises in regards to like branding and digital paid ads and all of these things. Lost a lot of money there, and there were a lot of L's taken to this point, investing in courses and mentors that didn't really do anything. So there was a lot of losses within that first year and a half of just trying to figure it out, and that's why I had taken that period to kind of like regroup, reassess, and that was the period I was focusing on the podcast and kind of just documenting my journey in that capacity. But yeah, it's been a season. You got to take some L's.
Yeah, but like literally, like every L, like you turn that into a lesson, and it makes you stronger. It seems like it already has. Like everything you're even talking about, like going from like trying from Amazon, then you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna do this the way that I know I should do it, and figure out how exactly to present it the best it can be. And that's really good, and that's something that we all really have to like learn. It's just like, I'm in an era that I'm trying to learn that it's okay to fail.
Oh, for sure.
Like, and I think I've always had that mindset that like, it's like everything's gonna be perfect. But I'm like, no, it's okay to fail. Like, it's okay to fall a little bit because at the end of the day, I'm still gonna pick myself back up and I'm gonna learn from that exact lesson that I did.
For sure, especially in entrepreneurship, like in life, like my motto is fail fast and fail forward. Ooh. So like test things out, try them, pivot. If you don't like it, go back. Like even when I left my career in forensics, that was hard because like my parents put a lot of money into me going to college to get this degree, to have this career, and then it's like, nope, I don't want to do this anymore. And it's like, girl, what? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, especially like coming from a Caribbean household, like that is like a no, babe. Like we're not doing that.
No.
But at least for me, and talking to my husband, it's like worst case scenario, you try out, you travel for a couple months, you realize you don't like it, or you realize you want to go back, and you just go back and get a new job. Like it's not the end of the world. And I think that has been a very big mindset shift. Like failure is not the end of the world. Because even if I build this company or the company doesn't work out, God forbid, Lord, we are not declaring that. But just in general, if I needed to go back to corporate and get a high paying job, I could. So worst case scenario, I chase my dreams, I fail, I go back to corporate, save up some money, and I try again. Worst case scenario. So thinking about worst case scenario and planning, I don't want to say planning for that, but like accepting what that reality could be. And I don't want to, in a way, coming up with a solution for it. Like, again, like if I were to lose everything today, what would the worst case scenario be? I'd have to pack up and move to North Carolina with my mama and find a job and save up some money. That's worst case scenario. And like, is worst case scenario that bad? Not really.
It's not honestly.
It could be worse.
It could be worse.
And again, that's a privilege to have a parent that you can always go back to. Like that's a privilege. But like my worst case scenario wasn't that bad, so why not pursue it?
Yeah, I like that. Like really just trying and seeing what works. Because with me, how my brain works sometimes, I'm like, okay, it has to be A or B, but I'm realizing that there could be a C and a D.
A lot of gray areas in between.
A lot, yeah. And it's really something that's so important that we need to really learn that options are there, and like, but really just trying. Like I have a previous episode I was talking about feel the fear and do it anyways. Like I think that was something that was holding me back, and that's why I've been trying to be more consistent with like my platform as well. Like just being like, just do it, like honestly, and we'll figure it out as we go. Obviously, like I always strategically plan the best that I can, but with that process, just like always trying and learning. So that's
will
a really
always
good
have
thing.
to pivot. Pivoting is a part of life.
And pivoting is real. And I think someone like me, like I have the background in pre-law, and then now I'm in marketing, and it just like really understanding like this pivot was not easy. It was not, but like I think it was one of the best decisions I've done.
Right.
Just really be able to learn more about myself and just trying one new thing to another. So I love that. But you were talking about having a team. So how is that, building your team, and how, like, what makes your team like the best team? Let's say.
Oh, well, they're just, first off, amazing human beings. Like, I just like am so grateful to have the team that I have now, because it really does take a village. Like I said, like I'm very aware of my strengths, and I'm very cognitive of my weaknesses. And I'm grateful that God has blessed me with people who can really pick up my weaknesses and really turn them into our superpower as a team. But building a team is really hard when you have no money and no resources. So it's hard. And I think especially for Silken, right? Like, I think I've gotten the biggest thing I think I've learned when it comes to building a team, especially when you don't have the resources, that you have to have a very clear vision. Because if you can't pay people what they're worth, you have to have a vision that's so clear for them to rally around, and a path to get you to where that vision is going to be. Because people are going to buy into you and your vision before anything else. So I think that's how I've been able to attract good talent for the brand, who just love what we're building. They're passionate about what we're doing, and they want to be along for the ride to build this thing. But I feel like that's where a lot of people struggle, is getting very clear on like what it is that they want to do. And it's so funny, even with my team internally, I'm like, listen, we are building a global brand. This is not a baby thing. This is a big thing. And I always, like, 50 million in 5 years. I'm like, that is the goal that I set out for the team. I'm like, this is what we're building. And the morale that creates internally is like, let's do it.
Let's,
like, how are we going to get there? And I think that's extremely important, even with the podcast. You know, like, I met my producer, and it's so crazy. I met my producer, who introduced me to my social media manager, who introduced me to my now head of brand marketing for Silken. So again, like, leaning into your network. And if you don't have a network, you have to go build one. And that's just the reality of it.
So you saying how to build a network, what are some tips you can give people that are very shy or nervous on how to build? They don't know how.
Ooh, this may be controversial,
but
this may be a little controversial. So I am not a big fan of in-person networking events.
Really?
I just feel like, at least for me, online networking is really where it's at, because you can do it at scale. And I've met some of my best connections on LinkedIn. You know, like, I know this is like such a cliche thing about document the journey and all of these things, but like, there's a part of that is actually very accurate. So me being on LinkedIn and just like talking about like the building, the highs and lows, lessons learned, and you're able to be a lot more targeted with your networking. And not saying that IRL and like events are not important, because you can be, but like, we were talking about this at the event too. Like, meeting your peers is cool, but like, I'm a very big fan of networking up. Like, you have to network with people who can help you, because if we're all in the same boat struggling, where exactly is this taking us?
But I feel like, I agree. I understand where you're coming from, but I feel like if you also try to network across, that other person may know a little bit more than you do, and then like, you guys just keep balancing off. That can build you guys to build up. But I see where you're coming from, like trying to have at least one person or like somebody that's also already up in, like, that's above you, that can kind of give you some tips.
Yeah, at least for me, like, I've needed people to pull me up, you know, because it's like, again, I'm trying to build this big thing. I've never been a CEO before. I've never raised venture capital before. I've never hired an expansive team before. Like, I haven't done these things. So like, I need people who have done it successfully, hopefully have done it multiple times successfully, and can just like give me the playbook. Like, I don't want to struggle. Success is blueprints. Tell me what to do, please.
Please give me the, I
like,
need something.
save me the headache, save me the heartache. Just tell me what I need to do. And I think, at least for me, seeking that counsel and that wisdom has saved me a lot of heartache on the second half of like the V2 version of Silken.
I like that V2, V1. I like that thing for real. So seems like you set a lot of goals to get, obviously you have to set goals, you have to set like different plans to get where you are right now. How exactly do you set goals? Like, do you do it like quarterly, or do you just do it like overall? Like, what's the next, how exactly do you do that?
Ooh, so this sounds weird. I really don't have like a goal setting strategy. It's just like, as things come to me, I kind of just like write them down. Like, what are we trying to do? Like, this whole concept of like 50 million in 5 years. I was literally, I think I was driving, listening to a podcast, and I heard somebody say it, and I was like, oh, that's good.
And I want
let me just add it to the notes.
Yes,
you know.
Add there.
And I think there's no real method to the madness. And I think where my goal setting comes into play is like thinking again of that higher vision. What is it that I want? What do I want to achieve? And then like, how do I reverse engineer that? And if I reverse engineer that, what are the KPIs that I need to hit? So if I want to reach 50 million in 5 years, 5, 15, 30, 50 are the revenue markers that we need to hit.
Say it again.
5, 15, 30, 50.
What does that mean?
So, like, if we want to become a $50 million company in 5 years, year 1, we need to do $1 million.
Oh.
Year 2, we need to do $5 million. Year 3, we need to do $15 million. Year 4, we need to do $30 million. And year 5, we can do $50 million. So we're reverse engineering that, right? You set a big goal, you reverse engineer, and boom. Now, the goals write themselves.
Thiccums, y'all. She's dropping the gems. Like, oh my. And, like, honestly, like, how do you even, like, I know you said, like, how do you think like that? Like, I know you like, let's rephrase that question. How do you, I think for me, like, I could even think as big like that, if that makes sense. Like, I think it will make me nervous, or even thinking about strategically, like, I'll have a goal, but I would have like a very big goal, and I wouldn't know how exactly I want to get to that goal, and I wouldn't strategically sit down and think of the numbers. So, like, what advice would you give someone like me that always loves to dream big, but I'm trying to figure out how exactly I can reach this number in this place?
Yeah, that goes back to what I was saying before about, like, attracting good talent. Like, having a vision, a big vision is only half the battle. Like, you have to have a path to get yourself there and your team there. So that becomes with, like, your leadership development and thinking through. I mean, entrepreneurship is all problem solving, but I think it's like, okay, like, you have this goal. Again, it goes back to that reverse engineering. So if I'm saying that I want to lose 20 pounds in the next 4 months, you know, then that's, I'm not doing the mental math. Let's say it's like a 1.2 pounds a week.
Yeah.
The goals kind of write themselves. So if this is the end goal and this is the time that I want to complete this goal, then, you know, you have to reverse engineer it. And, like, I know there's a whole acronym. It's called, like, SMART goals. And I know it's like something measurable, attainable, time bound, all that stuff. But, like, it's a real thing. Yeah. But I think time is the biggest thing. So if you're setting a vision, you have to set a time in which you want to achieve that vision. And then the math equation basically writes itself.
Ooh, yeah, guys, she dropping the gems. So let's go back to Silken, and let's talk about, like, I guess, like, skincare for you. Like, your skin glowing, and I love to see it. So what are some products you use, if you're open to sharing, like, how exactly you get your skin like this, and what are some products we're sleeping on, like?
Yeah, so, like, believe it or not, my skincare routine is very minimal. Like, I am not an advocate of a 10-step routine, primarily because if you're using too many products, you don't really know what's working, what's not working. And I'm also very big on, if you're going to be swapping out products, to do it one at a time. So you can really observe the changes to your skin, and you can pinpoint something. Because if you're using 10 products and you're swapping them out too often, again, you don't know what's working, what's not working. So my current skincare routine is I use the Youth of the People Superfood Cleanser. Love that cleanser. I use the Dermalogica microfoliant, and I love to, like, mix the two together. So, like, I'll wet my hand, pour some of the microfoliant, do a pump of the Youth of the People cleanser, rub it together, and I love a good, like, gentle exfoliant as a cleanser. And then I use our Silken serum and our Silken moisturizer.
Yes. Gotta promo that.
Yeah, you know.
Silken.
Yeah, and then I go in with an SPF, and I'm currently using the CeraVe SPF.
That was the one I knew. That was the one I knew. Yeah, I'm definitely trying to, like, get more. Like, I feel like less is more when it comes to skincare. Because sometimes when you see some people, they do their skin, they have, like, 8 different serums on her. And I feel like for me, it clogs my pores. And I just feel like I'm getting more acne from that. I just recently started doing more double cleansing. So, like, I would do it. And once my sister told me about that, I was like, oh, I'm going to keep doing this. Like, I saw the skin improving. It was moving, and I really liked it. So I definitely love that.
I love a good double cleanse. I feel like that's something that only became, like, recently a thing. But, like, especially if you're a makeup girly and, like, you wear makeup, and even SPF, like, these are thicker ingredients. So a double cleanse is
and it's something that we need. Like, oh my gosh. And sometimes I try to wear I don't wear makeup as much. I'm like, okay, I need to let my face breathe right now. I need to let it, like, not do its thing. I hate wearing makeup back to back. I feel like it's just too much for
it's
me.
A lot. It is. You gotta take a break in between.
Yeah. I'm loving it.
Okay, Harmony.
You know, low key, I feel like I could sing, but the girls don't see it. I don't get it.
I hear the harmony. I hear it.
I just feel like maybe with a little practice, you know, like a little guidance. A
little stability in the vocal cords. Yeah.
Period. I kind of forgot what I was going to ask, but I am going to do some quick church announcements. All right, guys. How you guys enjoying the episode? How are you guys feeling? If you have not yet hit the subscribe button, what are we doing? Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Come on now, let's let's
know
get it
where the
wrong.
button is,
Like,
but I
listen,
feel like it's
it's
somewhere.
gonna
It's
be
somewhere
right
over-
here,
it's somewhere over
right
here.
here. It's somewhere. Now it's gonna
Somewhere.
over there. It's everywhere here. Okay, hit the subscribe button, guys. Please. Also follow me on socials at the Thick of It podcast, and also, yeah, just really hit the notification bell so you guys can see when I drop. All right, let's get back into the episode. So we have an Am I the Asshole?
Ooh, okay.
And I love reading these ones. I love to hear what people think and like how their mind goes. So let's start. Am I the asshole for making seat swapper cry? So I board the plane and I settle into my economy plus seat. A woman approaches me and she asks us to switch my seat to 32B so her 9-year-old son can sit with her. I asked her how much cash she can repay me for the money I spent on the seat. She says that I'm cruel for leaving her son with anxiety sitting alone. I asked her if she offered the person sitting next to her son the seat in the economy plus, and she said she needed leg room. I said clearly she cares more about her own comfort than her son's well-being, and if she cared, she would have given up her seat and moved to the back. She breaks out screaming, wailing, filled with, "How could you say that?" 10 minutes later, a smiling man sits next to me, grinning about his sweet upgrade. My partner says I'm the asshole for questioning her parenting skills in public and making her cry. Am I the asshole?
I'm so confused. So I know this person was sitting in economy plus. Where was the son sitting?
So I'm getting the vibe that I think I don't know where the son is sitting.
Like, I'm trying to figure out was it an upgrade or a downgrade?
So she said, so I board the plane and I settle into my economy plus seat. A woman approaches me and she asks us to change my seat to 32B so her 9-year-old son can sit with her. I asked her how much she has to repay me. But yeah, where is the son already?
Yeah.
I think she probably got the son
In a seat further back?
Yeah, further back, but she was like,
Okay.
ooh, I don't want to leave my son all the way over there.
I got it.
So I think she
Okay.
was just trying to find someone to switch it.
Well, I feel like in general, switching seats on a plane is a courtesy. Like, you cannot go on a plane with the
They-
expectation
oh my
that someone is going to
gosh.
switch seats with you. Like, I say this all the
No.
time. Like, especially if you're traveling as a family, like. Let's
Let's-
pre-plan
let's
this.
do that.
Let's do this strategically. And there's no harm in asking, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, like my family's here. Do you mind switching a seat?
Mm-hmm.
And you're really at their discretion. So if they say yes, cool. If they
Yeah.
say no, then take your L and go back to your
And go
seat.
back to your seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I don't think she's an asshole because, like, why would you come onto the plane thinking that someone was just going to randomly switch seats with you?
Right,
Like,
that's
and
entitlement.
in economy plus, I'm not giving up my leg room.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't want to already give up her seat for the son. So it was just
Mm-hmm.
like, well, it's the point of me doing that for you.
Yeah.
So I definitely get that, girl. You're not the asshole at all. I don't like that. So we have a segment called On Repeat, and we have a Thick of It podcast. Nope. Let's read it again. We have a Thick of It playlist on Spotify where we have like different songs that all me and my guests listen to. Pretty good. Check it out. So what kind of music do you listen to?
Ooh, it's so funny. I was talking to my husband about this earlier. Like, nowadays, I feel like I don't listen to music. Like, I'm always listening to a podcast or I'm listening to, like, Christian music. Because
Period.
That's just where I'm at right now. Like,
Yes. I'm literally going to see Marvick City on Tuesday.
Ooh, I love me some Maverick.
Yes, they're
Yes.
so good. Like, I'm so gassed. Like, I'm
Yes.
really excited.
But I still have my guilty pleasure music. Like,
No,
don't get
of
me
course,
wrong. Right.
yeah. But that gets the job done. I'm an
Yeah.
Afrobeats gospel girl all day
Yes.
long.
Especially when
Yeah.
you're in a building season, like you're just so selective of what you want to fill your brain with.
Yes.
Because like, don't get me wrong, I love a little brokey.
Hey,
you
but
know,
that's not all what
that's
I
not-
need.
That's not,
Yeah,
I need more
no,
than
no,
that.
no,
You know
no,
what I
no.
mean? So yeah, like listening to things that keep me motivated, that keep me educated, micro learning through podcasts, listening to things that make me feel good and feel hopeful for the future. Like what you fill yourself with really matters.
I have a question regarding, you said like being in the building season. I feel like I'm currently in my own building season, and I think I'm in like this is actually me. I'm just about to open the door,
Right.
And I'm like, I'm having such a hard time with really realizing, like, I feel like everyone's leaving my life, and like,
Oh, girl, that means you close.
oh, really? Oh, my God.
That means that you are on your way.
Because there's so many hurdles, and I'm like, oh, this is happening, and then this door is closing. But then I'm like, because I'm also building my faith, and
Right.
also I'm like, okay, like, I'm trusting in God. I'm really trying to understand why this didn't work out. And all these people are leaving my life. And then I'm having more time to focus on myself. And I think for someone like me that was so used to always having people by me and everything, and it's very challenging. So like, I guess for someone that's already experienced their building phase, or like you're in another building phase, because we in V2 now. So how what are some tips you can give someone that's going through their first stage?
For your building season, wow. I think it's getting comfortable with things are going to be uncomfortable, right? Like early this year, like one of my prayers was like, Lord, like whoever's not supposed to be with me going into this next season,
a strong prayer.
Please remove them.
Very strong prayer.
Girl, when I tell you, people started dropping
like
flies around me.
Yes, he don't play.
I said, well, dang, Jesus,
I was like,
can you gonna work this fast?
Give me a 2-second warning.
Wait a minute.
He don't play. He don't play.
And again, like, and it was, a lot of it was like even over the silliest things. And I mean, friends and family, like over like things that you think are just like the smallest things were causing big issues. And I mean, people were just dropping like flies.
Yeah.
And I was like, well,
oh, damn.
All right, then.
Yeah. I'm like, since it's only me here.
Yeah. So I think it's just getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. It's getting comfortable with the pivot. Because again, like the things that you think are going to, like you may have in your mind like your plan, right? You reverse engineered your plan. You're like, okay, like it's gonna go this way, baby. That plan's gonna have so many scratch outs, so many highlights, so many arrows, so many redirections. Like you have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. There's gonna be pivots. There's gonna be failures. You're gonna be losing people. You're gonna begin like questioning and doubting yourself.
Yeah.
Like there's gonna be a lot that goes into that, but you have to be extremely mentally sound, mentally strong, and that's where my faith has really carried me through some of the craziest seasons. So yeah, like when you're building, I feel like to be an entrepreneur, you have to believe in God. You have to believe in Jesus.
Way.
Like, because how
the hell are we gonna make this?
How else is this gonna be a thing? So yeah, girl, faith and being comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I am trying to be uncomfortable with the uncomfortable. Because at first I thought I had that, then I got comfortable again, and I'm like, oh wait, I'm getting uncomfortable. But I know uncomfortable means you're growing and you're becoming a better version of yourself. And I think sometimes for me, I be getting scared. I'm like, oh my God, is this really what it is?
One thing, I forgot the podcast it was, but like they were just talking about like the closer you get to your breakthrough, the more the devil is gonna try you. And it's like, so like the more chaos that begins to happen, the more chaotic things become, it typically means like you're just getting closer and closer to your breakthrough. And it's so funny because like the word God gave me this year going into next year is overflow. Like that's my word for 2025. So I think that's been like something I've been able to anchor on to, like regardless like whatever is coming my way, I know that next year I'm going to be entering a season of overflow, and I'm declaring that over myself and all of those connected to me, and it really just changes the atmosphere.
So when you mean the word overflow, can you explain that more?
Yeah, overflow, abundance, like more than you've asked for. You're going to reap the harvest of all the things that you've been planting. You've been working, you've been diligent, you've been planting, you've been obedient. And I'm going to honor the promises that I've made you over the course of this journey, and you're going to begin to see the fruits of your labor, because it's hard to continue planting and sowing when you're not reaping any crops, you're not seeing anything grow, you're not seeing anything flourish. So finally going to the season of where you're going to begin to reap your harvest, that has been like an anchor for me.
I really like that, because it's definitely, I haven't really sat down and seen what 2025 is going to be. Definitely my plan soon, but I know 2024 it was giving intentional. Like I was like, I'm being intentional with my time, and I'm not because time goes so fast.
It does.
And guys, Thanksgiving is, well, when this episode drops it will be in December, but Thanksgiving is next week, guys.
For
sure. And I'm just like, turkey, everything's already out. And it's crazy.
We're here.
Right. And I'm just like, I need to be more intentional with my time and be also intentional with who's around me. And I think for someone like me that's really trying to reach these goals, because I see myself being an entrepreneur in the future, and I'm like, okay, I have to be comfortable with risk. I have to be comfortable with my time, is because I have the same 24 hours as everyone else, but how am I going to make use of this? And I think that's just something I was like, wow, something for real.
Not to flip the script as an avid podcaster, but what does the word intentional mean to you? Because I feel like a lot of people, I feel like the word has been used very loosely over the past couple of years. I would love to know your definition.
When I say intentional, I mean this is really serving me purpose. So for example, if let's not use somebody. If I want to do something, I'm actually going to put everything I have into this
Right.
and really put forward, just do it the best that I can. Like, I'm not gonna just half-ass it, to be honest with you, because I think I used to do that in the past, and I'm like, okay, I'm being intentional with what I want to do. This is what I want to do and why I want to do it. I can say in the past I've been someone that's quite, I want to say, yeah, I've been quite people pleasing. Thiccums, you know how it goes. My Thiccums have been with me since college. Like, so like they would hear all the things I'll talk about, and I would be quite people pleasing. I'm trying to really like hone in on what I want for myself, and I'm not stopping until I get these visions that I always see, because I'm such a big dreamer. I don't even think it's bad to dream big, but it's like, okay, God has put these dreams on you. He's put all these things onto you. How are you going to show him that you're going to make these happen? And I think for me, that's really what I'm trying to get at, and really being like, making sure I'm focusing on that. And this is exactly what I'm using my time for. Because as I said before, time to go. It will go fast. And it's like, yeah, I'm there or I'm not. And I'm trying to make sure I'm really using the time that God gave me, because he gives me so much time. And sometimes you look at me like, you know, you're not want to be scrolling right now. And I'm like, okay, let me get up. I'll get up.
Yeah.
2 seconds.
No, that's good. No,
Yeah.
I align with that for sure. And I hope you're writing down your dreams, because like as you
girl,
begin to,
journals here.
Okay, good. Because as you begin to progress, like you'll see how much bigger your dreams and your visions become. Like I remember like back in 2020, like my goal was just like, I just want to have a business that makes $10,000 a month, you know? And it was like, that was just like, that was the extent of my dream. And now we're talking about like a $50 million company in the next 5 years. Like, and like kind of just like going back and seeing the progression of my dreams. It's like, wow. Like, and I think the more like you are intentional and diligent with your time and your treasure and your talent, God is able to trust you with bigger dreams and bigger visions. Because like one thing about it, like he's not going to show you the whole path at once, because it's like, I use the story of Job in the Bible, not to get too biblical, sorry, but like, you know, like that story. Okay.
We get it.
You know, like, and that's where like, you know, like if he would have, like, he showed him on the throne, you know, and he showed him as king. And like, if he had shown him like having to go through the pit and prison and your brothers betraying you and all these things, you wouldn't have taken the first step. Right. So like, I think God is very good at giving us exactly what we need in that moment to get us to take the next step. And you'll see how the vision begins to grow from like, okay, I just want a little lifestyle business of like $10,000 a month to, okay, I think I can have $1 million business and a nice little small team, to like, no, like I want to be a global brand that's going to be doing 50 million with a full team and So like, it's really nice to see the progression, because you can look back and it's a nice reminder when things get hard of how far God has brought you.
Yeah. And honestly, that is something I'm definitely trying to be like, I am sitting in an answered prayer right now, and I'm sometimes when things get rough, I'm like, oh no, like I'm okay, like, oh God, like why'd you do this to me? But I'm like, you're actually sitting in your answered prayer. Like go back and look at your book or look at your journal. See, like you're actually doing what you want. And I think sometimes for me that's really a big one, because I tend to forget, and I'm just like, oh, this is a reminder. And I really like that. You bringing up the Bible, I have a question. So like, I saw this video that was talking about, if you could, how am I going to phrase this? What story in the Bible represents your life? Or like which character in the Bible is similar to you? If you could think of somebody.
I feel like just because of where I am right now, like that Job story of like, you know, like God only showing you what you need to know to get you to take the next step. I feel like that's the season. That's a story that resonates with me the most right now, because of the season that I'm in. And because like I feel like I'm just taking it like one step at a time, one step of faith at a time. Like I feel like that's just where I'm at right now. So I would say that's my story, because that's just where I'm at.
Yeah, that's
like
how it is.
That's just where I'm at right now.
It was good. It was good. No, because honestly, I remember when I saw that and I was like, oh, I hope I'm not in my Job season. I was like, because this is hard. You know? I definitely don't. I think that's what I'm trying to figure out, which character resonates to me, because I just started reading the Bible more, like actually like taking my time to learn each story. So I'm learning Esther right now. And
Esther's a good one.
It's a good one.
That's my grandma's name too.
Oh, I love that name. Shout out to you, Grandma Esther. Like I love that, and just really learning how exactly I can actually mimic what they did in real life, and like trying to follow his word. And it's not an easy journey. I really thought I really thought this was going to be easier than I thought. And I think for me, I was thinking small, but I was just thinking like, yeah, no, it's not that hard. Like life is not that difficult. It's hard though.
But that's good though, because I feel like there's a certain level of delusion that you need to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because if you go into it knowing it's going to be so hard and painstaking, and all the losses and L's you're going to take and all the lessons you have to learn, you're not going to do it. There has to be a certain level of delusion of like, oh, it's going to be fine.
Yeah, it's going to be easy.
It's going to go great. Like, you know, like, or else you're just not going to do it.
That's what I'm saying.
Because if you don't think it's possible, you're not going to pursue
Yeah.
it. So like, there has to be a level of delusional. Like even going into our fundraising round in January, like everyone is telling me like how, oh, fundraising is so hard, and as a Black woman and this, that, and the third, and that may be true. But I just feel like going into this fundraising season, I just feel like I have so much favor from God, and like right now that like that's not going to be my testimony. That's not going to be my story. So like, thank you for your information. I appreciate it, but let's just see what my God.
Yeah, let's see what my God is gonna do. Yeah, no, I definitely like that. I also like, I hate when you said something when you brought up like as a Black woman. I'm not really crazy about that term, like or those words, because I think it really puts us down, and a lot of people don't expect Black women to be successful. Like sometimes when I'm at work and people are shocked when I speak.
Oh,
like
the time.
they're shocked that I am and I'm educated.
Verb noun agreement.
Yes, and they're like, they shift, and I'm like, so what's? No, I don't do that. No.
Like, what were you expecting?
Yeah, no, like they expected less, and I'm like, I don't like that, and I really want to change that narrative so bad for us. I think we're in the era that we're doing that slowly, but like I just hate how people really think that Black women can't do it all, or we can't do what these other people are doing, and they get shocked that like we're doing it well.
I feel like unfortunately perception is reality, right? And it's twofold, because like if you're looking at it from a systemic perspective, yes, Black women have had, in my opinion, the hardest plight, especially in America, right? Like even like in terms of like business and VC funding, like only 2% of women achieve VC funding, and even a smaller percentage of that are people of color.
What is VC funding for?
Venture capital. Okay. So it's basically you are taking on a large sum of money from an investment firm who expects a certain amount of return within a certain amount of time, typically 5 to 7 years. But like less than 2% of women get VC funding, and then like a smaller percentage of that are people of color, and then like many don't even make it to an exit to reap the benefits of their labor. So like there are statistics that are true that our plight is harder, but it's like your perception is your reality. If you go through life like, yeah, like my plight is just going to be so hard and I have to be 10 times better and all of these things, which are true, but it's like how do you want to handle it, right? Like you can use it as your superpower, or you can use it as your demise, and that becomes your choice. Because I love to go into a room and show off my intelligence.
Yes, okay? I love that.
And show off my and
they'll
do
be like,
a little something.
And I'm like, you thought,
right? Yeah.
Like, as I said before, like being intentional, like really trying to see. I like to be surrounded by people that I can see myself in, or I can see myself grow. I'm like, okay, like I see how we can grow. We could do this together. Like I'm someone that I want everyone around me to win. Like I really want community to win, and I want all my friends to win. I'm like, how are we gonna do this, guys? Because I'd be the one in my group chat. Everyone, we always talk about nothing. I'm like, guys, how are we gonna make $1 million? Like,
oh, but can I have an honest moment with you?
Let's be honest. Oh, scared.
I have an honest moment with you.
I'm ready.
Building an entrepreneurship it can be a very lonely journey. And I think a big realization that I've had to go through is that I can't want it more than you. So when you have friends who don't necessarily have the same vision and the same passion and the same fire and the same ambition and the same motivations as you, you're going to realize that there's going to have to be either a period of separation or a period of understanding that your initial group may not be able to come with you into the next season. And sometimes it's a hard realization. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean like you can't be friends. Yeah. But it's understanding that you're going to have to begin to create different pockets of friends for different things. So like it's a thing. Yeah. So just not saying it's your story, but just saying it's something to be mindful of.
And honestly, I'm low key seeing what you're saying now, and I'm sick.
It's something to be mindful of. Because like I've realized, like I know, like being a big dreamer is a gift from God, honestly, and like not everyone has that gift to have big vision and big dreams. And when you're around people who can't dream as big as you, it becomes slightly limiting.
Yeah.
So you begin to have these pockets of friends where, okay, like I know where your limiting beliefs are. So I know you're only going to be able to get to this level because this is where the limits that you've been put on yourself, this is where they reside. So I now need to go and create pockets of other people who can dream a little bit bigger, a little bit higher, who are a little bit more on my level in that capacity so that I can continue to flourish, or else you're going to be stuck at that limit that they've set and you're not going to be able to break through.
Wow. It's so hard because it's just like the more I'm growing and the more I'm learning, I just feel like everything is changing. And I'm definitely trying to get to the place that I want. Change isn't bad. The idea of change isn't bad, but actually living in change, I don't know. I'm just like, this is a lot, guys. But I'm ready for it. Like, and I'm ready because as I expressed earlier, Ejom was a very big dreamer. Thiccums, you guys already know. I feel like majority of my Thiccums, they think like me.
Yeah.
And like we're all big dreamers and we want to get there. But I feel like sometimes our mind can stop us. And I just think being able to have a good community around us that can uplift us and we all think the same can really help us to reach the next level in our life.
But the caveat is, right, the word, the concept of dreaming big and being wealthy and rich, those are all subjective terms because like your version of dreaming big may be
It's
$1
not
million
the
company.
same.
My version of dreaming big is a $50 million company. So in theory, we both feel like we're dreaming big, but our conceptualization of what big is very relative.
I'm getting schooled on my podcast, y'all, and I like it. I'm not gonna lie.
We're just sharing some experiences.
I love it though, because honestly, this is real conversation, and this
Yeah.
is conversation we need to have because sometimes it's just like, damn, this is some real nigga shit.
And granted, one is not better than the other.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
no,
like,
of
one
course,
is not better
but
than the other, but
we're
it's just being,
viewing
it's being
things
aware
perspective, yeah.
and understanding the court that you're playing on.
Yeah, and I like that, honestly. It's some serious stuff. Did you always think like this, or was it like that? Was it your V1 era that really made you realize that, oh, I'm not?
Ooh, I feel like I'm just a very old soul. Like, I grew up with my grandmother most of the time as my caretaker. Like, my parents worked very hard to give me a very privileged lifestyle, and I will never, I have to acknowledge that in everything that I do. But like being around my grandmother and her friends and seeing her work and having her old wisdom and the adages and the analogies and, you know, like the old sayings,
Yeah.
like, you know, like those are things that kind of grow you, and it helps to form like your values and your perspective on the world. So I think it's been in those moments that have like always allowed me to just like think a little bit differently, whether it be bigger, whether it be thinking more critically, you know, it's shaped the way that I think and perceive the world.
So what podcasts or what books do you read that can help you, like, what fuel your brain?
Ooh, that fuel my brain. So the shows that I'm listening to right now, because again, like this is all seasonal because we do different seasons call for different things.
Yes.
But let's say a podcast that I really enjoy listening to right now is Grow the Show by Kevin Schmidlin. He's all about growing your podcast, which again is like now that we're rebranding the podcast, that's like a very big priority for me. Social Proof podcast with David Shands and Donnie Wiggins. Really love them. I love what they're doing in this space. What else? I feel like I listen to a lot more. Marketing Examined. Is that the name of their show? No, not Social Proof. Marketing Examined. Yeah, I feel like that's the name of their show. But they go through like a lot of marketing tactics. So like I think right now I'm very centered on like marketing because we're getting ready to like, we're prepping up for launch, we're gearing up for launch. So like marketing and podcasting is just like my entire
Their
world
main
right now.
thing.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
When it comes to listening to your podcast, listen to podcasts, how often do you listen to them?
All the time.
All the time.
That's like all I listen to. Like, even my friends get in the car. We can be going out for a night out, and I will have a
You know
podcast
what,
on,
playing
and they
the
be like,
podcast.
"Girl, if you don't
Like,
put the
can
radio
you play,
on,
yeah, can you play something, please?"
Right. I'm like,
that
give
would
me
be
a
me.
mini.
I'm like, "Girl, can you play some
Right.
twerking music or something?"
And I'm over listening to like, this is how you calculate your ROAS.
I know.
and turn on ad spend
I
and
love
music.
that though.
Yeah, like, and like they're like, "Girl,
I'm
stop.
like, can we
looking
try
cute
something
right
else?
now.
Like,
Can
we
you
just
put
trying to put
else?"
something on.
Okay, yeah,
I like
I'm
that.
down. I'd be like, "All right, y'all."
All right, guys, I'll just have my AirPod in later.
great.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
Like, when we're in the club, I'll have like
One
return on
AirPod
ads,
in, right.
like something.
Yeah,
No,
the
for
future
real.
of influencer marketing.
Oh my god! And like to me, I'm like, oh my god, guys, that's so
This is
exciting.
great. Like,
And
why
they'll
are
be
you
like,
not excited?
because they're not. They'll be like, what is she
Like,
talking
what?
about?
But that's just a testament to like when you're building something, like you have to be so locked in. Like you
Yeah.
have that goes back to that being intentional. Like you have to be low-key obsessed with what it is to a certain extent. So like it's just a part of the process.
The idea of locking in, right? I've had a moment that in college that I know I locked in heavy, but like I haven't had that feeling in a while. And I guess someone that's trying to get more obsessed with her passion and everything, how do you lock in?
I feel like you haven't found the right passion, because when you're extremely passionate about something, the lock-in happens automatically. Like, for example, you like look at some fitness influencers, right? Like you have some people who lose weight gradually, and you have some people who lock in for 9 months to a year, and they go all in, and they become obsessed with the gym and nutrition and all of these things, hopefully in a healthy way. We're talking about like a healthy case scenario.
Only healthy.
Yeah, but like they become obsessed with what it is that they're doing, and like I think that's just a part of it. Like even with building Silken, like I think about Silken all the time. Like in my downtime, when I'm sleeping, when I'm showering, when I'm brushing my teeth, when I'm driving, like you're thinking of everything. And some people may say that it's unhealthy, work-life balance, but especially in the building season, laying the foundation, you have to be obsessed, because a strong foundation is critical to building anything.
So, when are we expecting this launch date for Silken? Can you disclose this?
We can give a season. It's going to be a fall 2025 launch.
Woo! Yeah. I'm so excited.
But we have a lot of exciting things leading up to that. We're leaning very heavy into like social and our digital marketing presence. We're going to be doing a lot of mini activations. Like I really want to get to know our community. So we have a lot of events coming up, like coffees with the founder and matchas and me's and mini skincare spa activations, which I'm really excited for. So like really you should definitely be on our email list, because like you won't get an invite if
That's
you're not on our email list. So you will not be invited.
There was a time when we met at that networking event, you brought up like having that link on your email,
having a Calendly link in your email signature.
She was like, that's how you know you're official. I took the notes when you were talking, y'all. And as you guys can see, like honestly, Ericka, she really, her passion so much into her business and really just trying to make it, to let us all know like how exactly we can get there. And I just love it. I really do. I love it so much.
Listen, any story that I can tell to like help somebody along their journey brings me so much happiness, because girl, it has been a journey. Yeah. When I finally write my book in the next 10 years, like my tell-all.
V1, V2.
Literally, it's going to be a whole thing. But like, I just know what I wish I had a little bit earlier on. And I think I'm finally getting there now with like community and resources and all of these things. But like anything that I can share to help somebody take the next step is like all I could ask for. So I want to thank you again for sharing your platform.
Of course. No. And like, I really do appreciate you coming on here. The Thiccums are going to love you. They're going to love, like, because they honestly just like appreciate being able, because we're all just trying to grow and be better people. And I just love that how like we can make a community for us to make that happen. Absolutely. And I love that so much. But you said you don't listen. You know what's so funny? We were talking about on repeat, and then we went on a tangent. Oh, no, but I love that. I love that. I love tangents. But I know you listen to some of the podcasts you listen to, but like gospel songs, you say you listen to gospel or something. Are you comfortable with sharing some of the gospel songs?
Yeah. I forgot who sings the song right now, but like all of a sudden, I don't know if it's by Elevation or Maverick. All of a sudden has been like my go-to song right now. It's like it's gonna happen all of a sudden. Ooh. You know, and I'm like, again, like going back to my season of overflow, like I truly believe that. I feel like it's elevation worship. And what's another one right now? Jireh. Oh,
I love Jireh.
Pillar in my playlist.
Oh my god,
such a pillar. And what's another good one? Tasha Cobbs has a God's about to do it. That's just like how the song goes. Like God's about to do it.
Stop, because it's gonna come to my mind when we're leaving.
I feel like it's called God's About to Do It. I feel like that's the name of the song. It's like a minute and 30 like little segment of her album.
Sorry,
but yeah, like those are like top 3 of my playlists. I'm like, Jesus, provide for me. You're about to do it, and it's gonna happen all of a sudden, and that's just what I'm holding on to.
I like that. When terms with you like spiritually, how many times like do you pray? Like how often do you like have like a prayer journal? Like how does that work?
Yeah, it's a part of my daily routine. So I have a book. It's called like the Bible for Women in 52 Weeks. I feel it's by Dr. Moore.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay,
That book. Yeah.
I have her Bible reading plan. So it's a daily thing. Now, does it happen every single day? Sometimes not. I slept in this morning. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But I'm gonna read it tonight when I get back home. But like praying daily, reading my word daily, like those are huge for me. Serving at my church, I serve on the social media team at my church. Like I'm very invested because I know like how much my relationship with God has carried me through some of the craziest seasons over the past couple years. So very in tune with that.
I definitely am someone that's trying to, I want to be more involved in my church, but I want to find a different church home. I think the church home.
Trinity, New York.
What church you go to?
Trinity, New York.
Let me go over.
Shout out to Pastor Taylor and Pastor Kristen.
But how far is that? Because you're kind of deep for me, though.
So we're in Harlem. So we have a Harlem location and East Village location. So I don't know if East Village is closer to you.
They're not close at all, girl. You were saying those things. I was like, I was like, track.
Well, like you come like at least one.
I'll come once, to give it a shot. No, you should definitely send me the name.
And we're also online, so you can view online first before coming in person.
That's how I definitely started building my relationship with God more. The online, like I listen to Jerry Flowers. I listen to Stephanie Ike. I listen to very far Sarah Jakes. And there's one of her. Yes, and there's someone else I listen to, but I cannot remember their name. Pastor Mike Jr. Those are like the 4 I have on repeat, and like they help me more than me going to my actual church. And I'm just like, okay, like I think I need to find a better church.
Do you go to like an older church, or
it's like it's an older church. I just go because like my family likes to go there.
Been there.
But it's just like I'm
there.
ready to.
Yeah.
Like I've been saying how like I'm ready to like elevate. I'm ready to move on, and like not even like only with the church, but just like my hometown, because I still live at home. Love my home, guys.
Yeah, listen, don't sleep on living at home. Being an adult is expensive.
It's a lot.
Quite ghetto, actually.
It's just a little ghetto. It seems like a lot, honestly. It doesn't seem fun, and I'm low key like in the phase that I'm trying to mentally be there before I actually physically in there, and I'm just like, oh my god, like, I can't even imagine all this.
It's a lot. But I'm a very big advocate of like outgrowing your home church, because that's something that I went through. Like I used to go to church in White Plains with my family, and then I started going to another church in the Bronx and Fordham, and then I found my current church, and I've been there since the pandemic actually. So I think that's very important, like having a church as a young adult, having I don't want to say like a younger church, but having a strong younger population is extremely important, because like you're just able to connect on certain things and perspectives and viewpoints. And I'm very grateful for my Trinity community. They already know that.
They know that. They know what's going on.
Group chat never lies.
Oh, I love a good
never
group
lies.
chat. No, that's amazing.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I'm definitely someone that's trying to like learn. Like I'm trying to find a better church home that fits me. Yeah. Not like the church home doesn't fit other people. I feel like it works for my parents and everything, but for me,
they're in a different stage.
Yeah. Most definitely. Yeah. And I want to be near people. There's not a lot of young people at my church, and I think that's the thing. We need more. And they'd be like, bring more people. And I'm like, I don't even want to be here. So why would I bring more people here? Hello?
Please.
I don't want to bring more people.
My goodness.
Like, no. But, oh, my goodness. But some songs I have, and I'm going to add them in the playlist, y'all. Right now, the Wi-Fi not working. Yeah. But we have the song Big by Mike. It's Mike Jr. Mike Jr., he been making music too. I like it a lot. But Big is like the song that I've been having in my mind right now. He really talks about like just how it's gonna be big. Like God, the next season we're in, like God's gonna make it big. And he's gonna
not the little one.
Capital. It's gonna be big. So honestly, like that's just like that's what I really play to keep me going. Cause I recently like was going through some things and I was like, oh, this is just not it. And I played the song and I was like, all right, let's shower, let's keep going. Like, honestly, and just like, I love that feeling, how like you could just feel God's presence in everything you do. Yeah. And I just love that overall. But however Thiccums, episode does have to come to an end. I know. But I just want to say, Ericka, thank you so much for spitting your gems and just really talking about your business. And I love how passionate you are about it. Just to really hear about like how you're gonna just really help the skincare and just like change the game. She's changing the game, y'all, and that's really what she's here for to do. And I love that. I just want to say thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. Oh, yay!
Can I do a plug at the
end? Of
course.
Okay. Of course, yeah.
Well, if you want to follow me on Instagram, that's where I'm most active, at the Ericka Nicole. Ericka's ERICKA Nicole. Go to silkennco.com, SILKENNCO.com, and sign up to our a wait list. That's how you get access to all of our early access events, communities, pre-launch, all the fun things that we have coming up. And then you should follow my podcast. It is now at the Boss Babe Reset on all social media platforms, and we have a lot of good conversations and content on there, and this girl's going to be on there soon.
Oh,
so
y'all gonna
you
see
definitely
me
want to get tapped in.
Yes. No, honestly, and send me all the links there. Everything's gonna be in the description and the show notes, guys, so you guys will see it and click on it, because this girl's making moves, guys. She's making moves. She would be everywhere. Billboards. I see it.
I am
okay?
prophesying my TED Talk.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes. And y'all hear
TED
it
Talk.
first. Okay. Period. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys next week. Bye. Mwah.